I'm going to introduce Christopher Matthew Hewitt, Jr., who received his first tarot reading from Dolores Park, San Francisco, and is now working on crystal scrying with a certified crystal ball from his friend Connie, who found it on Amazon. In his past lives, he has appeared as a date palm farmer, a Roman vestal, and a velociraptor. So please take me further.
All right, so like Charlotte said, we're doing a Halloween theme, which means, of course, because I love vampires, I wrote a vampire poem. Things that might be helpful to know: Marius and Charles, two names mentioned in this poem, are queer characters from two novels, Walter Pater's Marius the Epicurean and the Seraglio by a certain James Ingram Merrill. And I think that's good. Mirror's Vacancy. Night is the mother who has thrown us out. Veinless, unmuscular gardenias in shade, we flit from our broken window duplexes, condemned erections. Trim funereal chic and lacquered fingernails conceal how black, serrated bat wings and manic cyclones beat when eyes transfix a stranger's eyes too long. So tell me, stranger, now you've seen me, street lamps halogen on tinsel paisley swirling, do you know I gnaw what you by now may know? How careful one must be to rise by the moon's wan illumination. Blood hosts microbia, love modulates to undulant or ruin. Marius was converted, Charles destroyed, but you seem worth the risk. You always are. Come, there's a club I know the password to. Down splintered stairs to mildew's powder blue, let's glide where candelabra flumes unfurl through overflocking zircon brilliance, Waterford flutes on drifting silver trays, counterpoise cheval glass duplicates. How much one craves proliferating light, but only in such padlocked interiors. Come, for I merely wish that you may float. Why else clang down a fire escape and brave shrieks on the metro? Do you yearn to fill a mirror's vacancy, another hearse? Come, we are not of those who kiss and breed, but still this urge to feed, this salty thirst. Oh, yes, Lindsay, would you please? Thank you. Spontaneous. Unplanned. Cool. So it's obviously a great honor to be here to study poetry at Cornell, as I'm sure we all feel. And moving to Ithaca has also had an special poignancy for me because it happens to be where some relatively recent ancestors lived. So I wrote a few poems kind of talking about them, too. The first is called, and I wanted to sort of keep evoking this Halloween theme, The Perfect Ghost. Patterson's service station on Buffalo Street was once a 4-column house where my great-grandmother and her 2 sisters were born. And since I moved here, I have pieced together lives that have passed through here and on to me. But further north, at Lakeview Cemetery, the years from birth to death, pressed to a dash, one sister, next to her parents, nullifies investigation. Her name was Sybil A. Brill. In one photo, faded at the edges, as a girl she frowns with her doll in a matching white dress, and in her teenage years, in flapper fringe, bobbed hair, still won't break to a full smile. Her older sisters do. Unlike Gladys, who hosted book discussions for the ladies' club, unlike Viola, the soprano, whose radio hits in Vitaphone recording Please Let Me Dream in Your Arms, which she sang at the State Theater, sweetened the airwaves through the 1920s. But Sybil left few prints in the newspaper. By 10 years old, accompanied on piano, shy as a hairpin at the back of the stage, was maid of honor at Viola's wedding, and no story becomes the bride at her own. Her husband is buried 30 feet away. She had no children, died at 45, eludes the Xeroxes flocking to my wall as if she burned the pages away herself. Sybil. A girl in a white dress. She hums and waves to me in the corner of my eye, and as I turn, as I search the dark lawns, motionless porches, vanishes beyond them. So this one I wanted to be more autumnal because, it's autumn and it's starting to get really pretty out there. So, climbing ancestral hills. A mile from my door, chiseled in gray, my namesakes sewed our common chromatin, and as I walk, the wind's unaging phrase scoops a familiar cleft of hereditary chin. Ithaca Falls, like Gladys, braids its macrame down shale and limestone it has worn away. I watch October with her hazel eyes. Gun Hill's vestigial smokestack, red brick fringed by russet, pumpkin pluoc gold, penciled her sky. Red maple veins devise minuscule gorges, like the wrinkles of old tin-type complexions. Who might recognize this same tree, same sliver of Cayuga Lake, though now no factory, but open field. Cool. So those are the three I wrote for tonight. And then the next several are all in sort of a similar spirit. Before moving here, I lived in the Bay Area for several years and was obsessed with the views and the way it looked. So I wrote several in that spirit. The first one is called View from the Berkeley Hills. Blackbirds bigger than the Golden Gate's thin iron string still holding the land in place, drifted 2 miles down the hill to the bay. Past houses, scattered grains of salt, the one we dreamed for our replica mannequins, the exact shade and height of a robin's egg, with a glass door out to a widow's walk, and purple bougainvillea in a red clay pot. But then the birds were swallowed, shrunk, rather, to gnats, or letters crumbling up from fire. Likewise, 2 summers baked to postcard size our vista, feathered with micromanic bonsais, redwoods like hairline brushes propped to dry, your watercolor done, pinned to my wall, though now you're far away and will not call. White sails stipple the wrinkled sheet of sea, like shark teeth sewn into the sky blue silk curtains you've left. Your airplane wilts to a fly. And these next two particularly are from, I used to work as a copywriter in a skyscraper in San Francisco, and I would look out that window like every night, just gaze for a while. So, San Francisco from the 19th floor. Dusk lowers darker shades of blue upon the cloudy water and watery cloud. Between, high-rises, blue-green, cool, glass smooth as the lifting curl of a wave, encase 1,000 lives to dream into. A coffee table here, some curtains there, the inner eye who owns or rents the room fixed on a further screen, so surfaces and surfaces reside. How strange to be one wink of light, half immaterial, half urban circuitry. The bay bridges, cables, and parabolic swoops ignite to tungsten rivers, chiffons, arabesques, each night rekindled to resist the dark, programmed to repeat in a millennium, pulsing like nerves within a waking limb. Oakland from the 19th floor, so other side of the bay. Flattened by distance, a canvas across the bay, Oakland. Above a tree-serrated ridge of hill and gamsel sheer dilutions, pink rises to green, indigo saturates the stratosphere as if to lay a film for the pointillist of stars. Below, brown-green brushstrokes, burnt umber, ochre, sap, brim with the cubic beige and gray porphyry of skyscrapers, life by life, reimagined, and other voices, vistas, rooms, names. No universe expands the same way twice. Sewn across the city, glints and glares, the hue of tungsten filaments, sear the eye until they linger in a blink. What are they? Steel garages, gates, sunward mirrors. Yet how much like needle points in fabric, exposing incandescent light so dense it tastes of clementine. How well the eye receives illusion, projects desire. Still, as punctures heal, illuminations fade, within closed lids what stars stipple the dark. This one is going to be called Northern Pacific. Where redwoods empty out, coastline reels us in. Dazed, we stop the car and walk. Gray surf struggles in a dream, coils gypsum ligaments for cyclic collapses, flings eye-level flurrying foam as if to strew white roses for one who never rises, mute in an endless coma. Above, chill sweeping, fog on fog, lowly blots the sky with drapery, through which the weak tin light casts no shadow, no glimmer, indifferent as the one black seal immersed in what makes our eyes strain the edges of their periphery, blank as pinnacles of rock, waves rage against in white effusions of spray. Just so, each windbag lung disperses as if the verge yearned to fill billions of empty primordial years with the single one we share, as if Pacific were synonym for need. The sea is huge because we say it is, but no, will never wake for us. Still we print our transitory steps. Okay, so I was not originally going to read this next one, but because it is my, correct, indisputable opinion that there's not enough rhyme in the world, I wanted, I wanted to rhyme. So I lived right by Lake Merritt, which is a beautiful urban lake, and I would look at that all the time. Often poems start with just looking a lot. So this one's called Egret Lake. Approximations are the lake's routine. Mexican palm fronds shatter into pieces, flamboyant disavowals of mimesis made rhythmic. Imbricated gray marine trembles until the water's skin is healed, a wrinkled foil smoothed by patient thumbs. And when it settles, clarifies its themes, a line of rowers wakes the dreaming field. But when the egret curls its neck in flight, low to the surface, soft on mellow wings reflecting, water wells its misty rings of white, refines as with a sharper sight the rounded breast, a simple muslin dress, the orange beak pristine and arrowy, winging for once in crystal mimicry, slips on the outer feather's airiness, thinned down so sheer it nearly turns to snow, as if to soar among the glamorous meant growing steadily diaphanous. And so against the water's mirror flow, a kissable twin arises, flaps, conceives reality's every gesture, hieroglyph to doppelganger, hieroglyph to doppelganger, art in sync with life until at last, so here the realist grieves, winds blow, fish jump, stones break apart, the whole pageant at last, and shattered wings dissolve in the broken towers of the lake, resolve to vacancy when the lake regains control. All right, well, that just flew right by. This is my last one. And Murano is a group of islands all interlinked in Venice, famous for their glass making. For those who have heard this poem before, I've made some changes. No, it's not spooky, but you had to get a spooky laugh in there somewhere. Okay. So it's called Murano. Fireheart pulsed, and still there was no bell, no mare, no boy unmarred by tint or sin, tweezed into shape for cardinals gone gray, not even one tiny swan as clear as lymph. We were liquid soda ash. We flickered, flew as a flock of starlings warbles into one amoebic movement, supple twisting when they dragged us incandescent to the marver. We knew then, and only then, in a firm world, what it meant to be molten, knew to droop, febrile, languid, involuted. Steel tongs exploited our tenderness, blew our bodies, tugged from silica tendons, wing and paw, like secrets we would keep, quite brutally imposed themselves till we obeyed the forms of beauty. cooled, congealed. Equanimity tamed us. Rose and lion, finch and cross, we charm our buyers, glisten where we will, dressed in rococo colors, brittle, pale. In many a spoonster's zoo on a windowsill, we soak sunlight deep in our grain, emit radiant shadows, hectic script, condense the flame intrinsic in ourselves, although forever they will see through us. My dears, dragonfly, koi, iguana, lobster, newt, your final change will be to shatter. Grace will split us open. Where will we go then?